Logos. We all know what they are, not logos, that's something else. Logos are oftentimes one of, if not the most recognizable elements of a brand. Some logos are expertly designed and beautiful to look at, while other logos make you wonder if living was worth it. And one aspect of logos that has become increasingly popular to discuss is the oversimplification of them. Put simply, there's kind of been a trend during the last decade where logos have become less and less recognizable and more just shapes and colors. And while that's not inherently bad, it's become very clear that there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And so today, I've gathered a list of 20 logos and ranked them by how much they've changed from their very first variant to their most recent variant. For better, or for much worse. Before we begin, I want to clarify some things. If the company was named something different and therefore the logo had a different name on it, I'm not going to use that one. I'm starting from when the company was named the same as it is today. And so as an example, Twitter wouldn't be on this list because as far as I'm concerned, Twitter died when it turned into X. Another thing, this tier list is going to be very subjective because obviously people don't agree on design choices all the time. I'm just looking at the modern day version of these logos and deciding if they are a step up or step down from their original designs. Or even just a step in no direction, because some of them are kind of just like the same. You'll see what I mean, because things will get progressively worse as we continue. But in the meantime, let's start with S tier. First up is one of the biggest drink brands on the planet, and that is Pepsi. And I just want to clarify, if you're one of those people who says that Pepsi tastes different from Coke, get over yourself. They taste the same. It's okay. Nobody cares. Except for you. Now, we've all seen a ton of variations of the Pepsi logo, especially that one where they argued about the gravitational pull of Pepsi. How much did they pay someone to write about that? And can they pay me that too? Depending on where you live, it might look a little different, also because it's not fully updated everywhere to my knowledge, but this is the modern day Pepsi logo. But do you know what the original Pepsi logo looked like? That's not a logo, that's Armageddon. I think this is probably the best glow up on this list because the modern day Pepsi logo, no matter which variation of it you're looking at, is so recognizable and clean, and it really works. The way the red and blue half kind of like flow like that gives me the impression of, you know, liquid soda. And it's a very clean, it's clean and condensed into the little circle with the text. The text is readable, it's a nice little font, it's not too serious but not too goofy. I think it works. The old Pepsi logo, what do I even say? So this is easily number one on the list because what a glow up. If you're ever struggling with motivation to get yourself out of a dark place, just remember, it's not impossible. At spot number 2, we have Apple, which is really funny because unlike every other logo on this list, Apple has only ever had these two. It literally went straight from this to this. And look, I'm not one to praise Apple, but like this logo is just so iconic at this point that it's hard to say that it's not a good logo. This, on the other hand, is not necessarily a bad logo, but it's just such a step down from this in terms of simplicity and design, especially for a tech company, that I think it has to go at spot number 2. I do really like the creativity behind this one, because I mean, the logo is Isaac Newton, the apple, and my friend said probably the most important apple in history. Like, that's pretty cool, but it's just not simple and sleek like a logo for a tech company should probably be. I think this is just too iconic and just such a step up from this. If this was a logo for any other company by itself, it would be really good, but just for Apple specifically, I think this just works too well. Next, we're moving on to A tier. These logos didn't quite have as immense a glow up as Apple and Pepsi, but they're still pretty good. At spot number 3, we have Burger King. I get fast food occasionally, but I don't ever get Burger King. But I'm not gonna argue that this is a bad logo. I think some part of me, probably mostly a nostalgic one, prefers this one, but this one isn't bad in and of itself. The text is silly and fun, it's red, it catches your attention, and it's in between the buns, and it works. I have no complaints there. And I think it's pretty hard to disagree that this is worse than the old Burger King logo, which is that's pretty bad. I'm not a huge fan of when logos are just the name of the company unless they're done creatively, which we will see later. But in the case of Burger King, you're a fast food chain. You can do so much more than that. Also, that font is just really ugly. I don't like the R. It's annoying me. Also, why is there a hyphen? You're not Kit Kat. You don't need the hyphen in there. Does Kit Kat have a hyphen? Overall, I would say Burger King has improved pretty substantially. At spot number 4, we have Instagram. Now, the thing is, for some of these like apps and tech companies, they have like a primary logo, in which case Instagram's is actually like the font that says Instagram in cursive. But for the cases of these, I did the icons of the app just to make it a bit more fun. And I remember the old Instagram one, right? You know, everybody knows this Instagram logo, but that's actually not what the original was. This is the original. Why is it so detailed? Can you imagine this as your app icon for Instagram? The app that you open and view reels, and it's all just terrible? Honestly, it would probably dissuade me more, because the new Instagram logo is really good. Say all you want, I like this. The colors are really nice, and the little camera just done with the square and the circle and the dot. It works. I'm a sucker for it. I just really like the colors, I think, but it's good. Don't get me wrong. I hate Instagram, but this logo is really clean. This one has a lot of character to it, but not in like a good way. It's a pretty good step up. It's not as huge as Pepsi, but it's a good step up. At spot number 5 is another fast food place, and that is Kentucky Fried Chicken. Their original logo is, again, similar to Burger King, just the text written out, but at least this one has some chicks and stuff. Although that makes me feel bad about eating the chicken. I actually didn't think about that until just now, because the font is pretty fun. I like the font, but like, why would you put the chicks there? No one's gonna be driving past a KFC, see that, and go, oh, the cute little adorable chick, I just wanna eat it. What psychopath says that? It's a really weird choice, but it's not inherently a bad logo, it's just weird. That makes the modern day one all the better, because not only do you have Colonel Sanders, is that his name? Why did I think of Bernie Sanders? That's not... I'm once again asking for you to subscribe. You have Colonel Sanders front and center with his little bow tie. No, he's not a stick figure. I hate that that's a misconception that people have. It's silly. It's take Kentucky Fried Chicken a little more seriously. You have the KFC text directly underneath them in a nice clean font, and you have the entire thing as a bucket, like the chicken bucket that they do. I've never ordered that. God forbid I ever do, because I will die. But I think this one's really clever. I think it's really creative, and compared to the odd original one, I think it belongs at spot number 5. Spot number 6 gives us Walmart. Now, the modern day Walmart logo isn't really anything special. I just think it's simple. It's simple, it's clean, and it works. The yellow spark wasn't even like part of the logo for most of its lifespan, which is crazy to think about. But it was definitely the right choice. Because here's the original Walmart logo. Discount City? That's so corny. We sell for less, satisfaction guaranteed. Or maybe it's we sell for less and then satisfaction guaranteed. I don't know. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 9 words on this. 9 words on a logo. We don't need that many words on a logo. Unless your company's name is 9 words, you don't need to be doing all that. I will say, if it was just Walmart in the square with the circle, that would look good, but that's not what it is, and I think it's just kind of overwhelming to look at. The modern day one isn't anything special, it's just good, but it's definitely better than the old one, which I think lands it at spot number 6. Now we're moving into B tier. These logos might have started terribly and now they're just okay, or they might have started out okay and they're pretty good now. Spot number 7 brings us our first and only car brand on this list, and that is Kia. I like the new Kia logo. Do I always read it as K backwards N? Yeah. But it's still cool. The thing is, Kia's original logo isn't even that bad. It's a little convoluted, but like if you just got rid of the Kia text with maybe the hexagon, I feel like that logo is pretty nice and it would be recognizable enough. I just like the modern day Kia logo, and I think it's definitely a step up from the old one, just less than Walmart. But unlike Walmart, I don't think the original logo of Kia is bad. I just don't think it's all that. I feel like this one might be controversial because when I was compiling this list, I did research by looking up bad logo redesigns just to get inspired, and Kia was one of them. So apparently people don't like this new logo, but don't hurt me. Funny enough, following Kia is IKEA at spot number 8. That original logo is very icky. I can't imagine that being a furniture store's logo. But the modern day IKEA logo, oh my God, that thing screams at you. Is it just text in a circle? Yeah. Is it really effective? Yeah. The original logo says something in a language that I don't understand because I'm stupid and American, but I don't like it. I think it's pretty ugly. The new one is just simple, to the point, and really loud. Following IKEA at spot 9 is FedEx. We all know the modern day FedEx logo, right? And if you look in between the E and the X, oh, look, there's an arrow there. That's so cool. And yeah, that is pretty cool. Not gonna disagree and say it isn't. I just think that other than that, this is just text. This is a really good logo. But here's the thing, is that the original FedEx logo isn't even that bad. Look at that. I mean, granted, it is just text, but so is the modern day one, so I'm not really counting that against either of these. The font is really fun. I like the slant of it, the red on Express. I think it works. I don't know what it is. This one's grown on me. I don't think it's that bad. I would give this one like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, but the modern day one is just that good and that effective, so it kind of has to be here. Is it a glow up? Yeah, but it's just from good to great. Then we have Google, and originally this was a lot lower. Now here's the thing. This is peak Google. This is the best Google logo we've ever had, and I will not be hearing from anybody, save for your lawyers. The colors are so good. The shading makes it look so nice. Everything about this logo is just chef's kiss, dude. If this was the first logo we ever had for Google compared to the modern day one, oh my God, this would be in a dumpster. However, the first ever logo for Google was not this. It was that. What? The only format you can download this in off of Wikipedia is a GIF file. Now, I will say, I don't actually mind this one too much. I don't like how every single letter's like blocky part is red when the rest of them are different colors. I think that's a weird design choice. Can you imagine if you just, fixed it up a bit? That would look really clean. Is it silly? Absolutely. Is it old? Absolutely. But is it fun and a good logo? I think absolutely. It's just that the modern day one, as much as I dislike it, is not a bad logo inherently. It is significantly worse than the already mentioned one, but it's just not bad. And all things considered, as much fun as the original Google logo is, it is worse than the modern day one. Moving out of B tier, we're now in C tier. This is where logos kind of really don't improve at all. They're just kind of stagnant. They might get better slightly, but not really. First up is Roblox, the only video game on this list, which has gone through so many phases. Roblox has had some really strange design choices, because their very first official logo, which is not their very first logo, I'm counting their beta logo, is this one, and I think that's really cool and really unique. They then followed it up with this one, and this one's really good. Then after that, you had the Roblox logo that everybody knows and loves. That's peak design. And then they changed it and made it this, and that one's not necessarily bad either, but it's just not as good. And then they removed all the color from it, and then next thing you know, it's even more default text, and now it's this. Where did we go wrong? Oh, I know, with the very first one, this one. It's kind of just a graph with a spike in the middle, and now we're back at mediocrity. I think the modern day one is just a smidge better than the old one, but I wouldn't say it's good. Spot number 12 gets itself probably the logo that everybody knows for oversimplification, and that's the Firefox logo. But I actually learned something. We all know the memes, right? About how they just kept simplifying the logo and now the fox doesn't exist. Those aren't actually true. Maybe I'm just stupid, maybe I just didn't know this, but the fox has always been there, and it still is. This is the modern day Firefox browser logo. Firefox, the brand, has this logo, but Firefox itself was never an overseeing brand until it split and made Firefox browser one of its sub products. But technically, the Firefox browser's logo has never removed the fox. Now here's where I might say something a little controversial. I like this logo. In fact, I like it more than the old Firefox logo, but not really by a lot. Maybe by one stick of gum more. The OG Firefox logo is just good. It's just solid, Firefox around the world. That's like a slogan, surely. Firefox. Firefoxing around the world. It's good. It's solid. It works. I just like the color scheme on the new one more, which now now that I'm looking at it, it's the same color scheme as Instagram's. Maybe I'm just a sucker for like sunset colors. I think both these logos are just really good. I just think that this one is a little bit better. Just a tad. Spot number 13 gets us the site that you're watching this video on. YouTube. YouTube's logo started from really good to what it is now, which is really good. I don't think YouTube's been cursed by an oversimplified logo or anything of the sort. I just think that they've made some weird decisions that aren't bad, but just like, why? Starting with the original YouTube logo, it's just like really good. I would just remove the shading on the U, but other than that, oh my God, the shading on the box, the red box, that's just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous logo, zero complaints here. And the modern day one is also really good. You have YouTube, the text, and then you have the play button, which is just so iconic and so simple. I just don't get why they changed the color, because in the original you have shading, so it's like a multiple shades of red, and then they made it true red for the longest time. And then they just decided they just woke up one morning and was just like, let's just make it pink. I mean, if you watched my color accuracy video, I would call this red, but like, it's like a pinker red than the red they had before. And I just don't get why they did that. The red branding was it was so simple and so iconic and it just worked so well. Why did you just decide to switch it up, Red? And like so subtly too. You had the whole site thinking they were like hallucinating for a day. But that being said, the YouTube play button is just so iconic. I just think it's so good, and the original one is just so good. They're just like dead equal, like literally dead equal. And so I think it belongs at spot 13. I've never used Facebook, never plan on it. And I literally have like nothing to say about this logo. Similar to Instagram, I've just taken the Facebook app icon because the original Facebook is just text, and I don't like that, and that's not as fun to talk about, but this isn't really fun to talk about either. They just changed the F a little bit, changed the color, and simplified it. For better or for worse, I don't really care. I'm indifferent to this. Just like Facebook. Number 15 is Gap, but before you start panicking, let me explain. We've all seen this logo. This is the famous bad logo. When it comes to discussing how logos have been oversimplified, you'll either see this or the other one, which we'll get to later, I promise. But the funny part is, this was only Gap's logo for a week. Can you imagine spending that much money on a logo change? And it doesn't even last 8 days. That is so funny to me. And it's so bad. It's such a bad logo. But thank God it's not the logo anymore. So it's not being discussed for this list. This is the modern day Gap logo. It's just 3 letters that say Gap with a gap in between each one. And I think it's good. It's iconic. It gets the point across. It works. It's just a little too simple almost because it's G-A-P, but just stretched, you know? But it's not bad. However, this is the original Gap logo. It's also just 3 letters, except it's the Gap now for some reason, or it was the Gap. Now, here's the thing. Right now, I like the old one more because it's like 3 little circles, but then you have just different lines coming off of them. I think it's really clean and I think it works. Honestly, you could ask me any day of the week and it could be a 50-50 chance that I'd say I like the other one more. I'm completely torn between these two. They're both really simple, they're both really good, and I just don't know which one's better. This is the absolute bottom of C tier, which means now we're moving into D. This is where logos start to deteriorate. First up is Discord. Now let me get this across. I actually prefer the new Discord controller. I think it's much simpler and much cleaner. And the new blue this is obviously a personal thing, but I just like the new blue more than the old one as well. It's much more vibrant and much more eye-catching. I like those facets of the new logo. It's when you bring in the text that I really don't like the new logo. Look at that old text, dude. It's what it is. It's just so simple, it works, and the D's being kind of like cut off like that, it just looks cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But no, let's take some text, stretch it, and also just pick a really ugly font. I don't get it. Why did you do that? What was wrong with the old one? I don't get it. Up next is staples. Why did they unbend the staple? This one is like personal to me. I don't really know why. I've never really cared for staples. I think I've been in a Staples maybe 3 times in my whole life. But it's just such a weird choice, dude. Look at that original Staples logo, okay? It's simple. Is it simple? Sure. But like the L is the staple. It works, and it's just really solid. And they just changed it. They did the big unstapling the staple thing and just put it in front of some more default text. This is like the most unnecessary change I think I've ever seen. Why did you do this? You had it all. It was right there. It was fine. And then you just changed it. Just to change it. I don't get it. It makes no sense. It's stupid. It's horrendous. See, this one, like, is personally my least favorite, but I can recognize that compared to the three beneath it, it's not as bad. Which brings us to our F tier. Why did you do this? Why have you put me in this situation to be discussing such vile, simplified logos? The first logo in F tier is the famous one, the simplified logo, and that is Pringles. This Pringles logo is peak design. This is such a good logo. It's so good. It's so classy and iconic. And then they just killed it. They just sucked all the fun out of it. But this isn't actually the first logo. This is the first logo. And while I don't like this logo, I think it's kind of like, I don't know, this guy just gives me the creeps. I don't think it's a bad logo. It's simple, and it's the chip still, it's Mr. Pringle, he has his mustache, everything's there. I just don't like the artistic style of it, but that's just a me thing. However, I would take this any day of the week over this one. Like, what is this? What did we do? Why? He's so boring. I guess it does. Pringles are pretty bad, actually, so I guess it works. I don't get it. This will never make sense to me. And the fact that they still haven't reverted back to just, like, the good in between. Like, this is such a good one. Why haven't they just gone back to this? I don't get it. I don't understand. Next up is Smuckers, specifically the JM Smucker Company. I pulled this directly from that Jay Schlatt video discussing oversimplified logos because I feel like he explained it best.
And of course, Smuckers. What the f*** was wrong with Smucker's logo? You're not a tech company. Why does every logo need to look like a fucking modern tech company?
Yeah. You're not a tech company. What is this? It sucks too, because that original one just feels so, like, personable. It's just so grounded. You know what I mean? It might be pretty complex and not simple, but it doesn't have to be simple. In fact, it's almost better when it's complex because it has like a nostalgia feel for me personally, and it has like, what am I doing? It's such a disappointing glow down. I don't like it, and obviously. But that isn't the worst logo on this list. I think you guys all know what the worst one is. And if you don't, you're about to. It's Petco. Now, we all know the Petco logo, right? But this isn't actually the original one. This is the original one. But the original one could just be a line for all I care, because what the hell is this? We killed the animals. They're gone. Is the original logo anything special? No. Is it bad? Also no. Is it good? Also no. But anything is better than just this. You're a pet store, for crying out loud. Where are the pets? It's nothing. It's quite literally nothing. They typed Petco and called it a day. They didn't even do like changes to the text. Maybe there's a little bit of fun in like how the T has the little swirly thing and the P has the little swirly thing. I'm grasping at straws here. There's nothing here. It's such a terrible logo. I don't really think I need to explain why. It just is. That's all I have to say. It's dog water. Pun not intended. And that's it. That's the logo list. Obviously, there's a lot more than 20 logos. So if you have any of your own suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. I'm super interested and honestly could see myself doing another one of these. So if you liked it, make sure to give it a big ol' thumbs up. And in the meantime, stay hating on the Petco logo. It's so terrible.